voice, Holmes. I don't keep up to social media like that, bro. I just heard this motherfucker did some shit, and I was like, damn, that's fucked up. But when I was watching the video, they were showing what he said, right? So I only got to see like 2 videos out of the whole thing, bro. It's not like I'm fucking channel surfing on YouTube. I'm a busy man. I catch my news. My news is not credible if I'm watching it on YouTube, right? That's number one. If my news is coming out of YouTube and I'm making an assumption, I'm confirming in my own mind, I'm prosecuting a motherfucker through YouTube news and shit, Holmes, and my sources aren't correct. You know what I mean? Just off the top. So I try not to, Holmes. I got respect for everybody, Holmes. But here's one thing that I'm gonna say really quick, and I'm gonna end it with about Ryan Garcia. Holmes. I'm also a faithful man when it comes to my views of what God is and what God teaches us. You know what I mean? And in my heart, in my opinion, none of us are born racist. Holmes. None of us are actually racist, and black people included. Because some black people could fucking seem really, really fucking racist at times. Don't they? I mean, just by listening to how they treat Ryan Garcia on social media, it's always they're trying to question his manhood, his his family, talking shit about his family. They're honoring constantly. You know what I mean? So and it's mostly from social media boxing. There's a negative, in boxing, in the boxing social media channels on YouTube. It's very negative when it comes to Ryan Garcia from those communities. There's more hate coming from that side. But like I said, I don't believe nobody's racist. I don't believe nobody really has hate like that. They're born with it, because I believe in God. Homes. We're all children of God, but some of us stray, homes, from the Word of God. Some of us stray from whatever your faith is, homes. You know what I mean? Mikey, Kitty, what's up, brother? You know what I mean? So DMZ Electronica, salutes to you, bro. So I truly do believe that you could change, bro. You could change your evil ways. I believe that there's people that that could be closer to us that we could learn from. People who were once lost and now they're found, who at one point might have been criminals and now they're saved through the religion. You know what I mean? Maybe they were just ignorant. They're just following religion, taking it by granted. You know what I mean? For granted, and not really living up to how they were raised morally, spiritually, and even physically by going to the church or to your mosque or to wherever you go, right, to pray. You know what I mean? You could be a hypocrite. So I would be a hypocrite to say that I'm condemning Ryan Garcia for eternity, because he needs help, bro. And the only thing I could offer him is advice, Holmes. But advice is taking a vacation from social media, repenting with God, and then asking for forgiveness, changing your evil ways, your evil thoughts, and and maybe his to be more mature. Whatever he thought was funny is not as funny as because it's a racial. But in my opinion, Holmes, just these kind of words, like whatever black people feel when they hear the N word is what Mexicans feel when they hear beaner, immigrant, wetback, and all that shit, right? Go back to Mexico, and that's what we feel, bro. The same pain and hurt and injustice that you feel, bro. And it's like, no, it's not the same, because the N word comes from. And like, nah, bro, we're human, bro. See, that's the thing that I don't like, bro. When one side tries to damn near try to change the scripture, the Bible, and says it's a sin to say the N word. It's an eternal condemnation. It's like an abomination. To say the N word, and it's like forever. It's like, come on, bro. It's like, relax, bro, relax. You know what I mean? It's just a fucking word, bro. But the word has a lot of meaning behind it. Either you're affected by words to a point where it's gonna fucking destroy you, or you're just gonna be. This person needs God in his life, homes. You know what I mean? There's two kind of people in this world, homes. And as I'm looking at my life, I'm seeing people just dropping off, homes, because they're expecting hate. More people are more entertained about hate, violence, and me saying that this guy needs God, homes, and he could be forgiven by God's view. See how people just dropped off, homes? I had damn near 20 people live right now, bro. Now I got 2. So, but I'm gonna keep going, homes, because I don't need 18 motherfuckers out here who got hate and envy and jealousy in their heart. And they want to just see, I'd rather have these 2, gentlemen who are watching me live, homes, and fucking neighbor dogs are going crazy on me. Close the window. I'd rather have some solid motherfuckers out here listening about some truth. We're gonna talk about boxing, a gentleman's sport. Salute to you, bulldog face. Salute to you, Holmes. It says, what times does the event start, bro? I was just showing them right now the times, Holmes. You missed it in a few minutes, Holmes. If you can, rewind the video. We're live on Cut and Direct, homes. You know what I mean? And right now I'm trying to shut down the my last comment on Ryan Garcia for the day. You know what I mean? And so that's what I was thinking about Ryan Garcia, bro. You know what I mean? And let the brother find religion, God, or he is Christian, I believe, right? So let him go back to his Christian values and ways, and hopefully God. Well, in my opinion, who the fuck am I to say hopefully, right? God, you know, like whatever God is does. Well, I have no clue, right? So let God handle Ryan Garcia, but Ryan has to ask for forgiveness, in my opinion. That's my advice for him. He has to ask for forgiveness, apologize, and because you cannot walk around saying those kind of stupid things. You know what I mean? Especially when you know you're not born that way, and whatever society is turning you into, this fucking evil, disrespectful person. When you change in the long run, Holmes, it's always gonna affect you. These little kids are gonna look at you one day, Holmes, and they don't know, bro, if you really mean it or not, bro. You might change your ways completely. Imagine me, bro. Imagine me, a fucking OG. Bro. I'm an OG from my community. Imagine if I go around. See, back in the day, Holmes, here's no disrespect, but in my community, Holmes, you couldn't even act black, Holmes. You couldn't even fucking go up and say something like I don't know. I remember fucking people would get their ass kicked for fucking saying some shit like yo, like whoa, like what you mean? That's come on, Holmes. Childless. I mean, it's just where I grew up, huh? You know, you acted the way you were supposed to act according to your culture and your traditions. Now it's different with social media. You know, I don't blame the younger generation. They're disconnected with the older generation, and that's not really their fault, bro. The older generation might have let them down, huh? You know, on every side of the spectrum of color and shade of your skin. Huh? So we let the youngsters down. Huh? We don't like the way they act. We don't like the things they do. You know what I mean? Shit, you know, where were you to fucking help them out in the first place? Huh? You know? There's more people out there complaining that they're doing things, you know, for the youngsters. Huh? So why wouldn't the youngsters find their own way? If and masses, the older generations, lost their way. You know, they go outside in the community and they fucking see homeless people and garbage and pollution, motherfuckers hating on this motherfucker, hating on that motherfucker. You know what I mean? So, you know what I mean? So, it's like the youngsters were disconnected, are disconnected from the older generations. You know, they feel betrayed in a way, lied to. You know, but thank God, you know, we do have a lot of love and you know a lot of good in this world still. You know? And boxing is one of those things. Boxing is a sport, bro, that you got your hands, you know what I mean, and you're gonna get in the ring and you're gonna do what you gotta do. You know what I mean? No excuses. You know, all your hate, all your envy, all your jealousy, all your weird thoughts, Holmes. You know, they don't mean shit, Holmes, in the ring of boxing, Holmes. You see what I'm saying, Holmes? You can't kick a motherfucker when he's down, Holmes. You know, no bitch shit in boxing. I'm not saying that a sport where you can kick a motherfucker when he's down is a bitch sport. I'm just saying, traditionally, the values of men, how men conduct themselves, you know, society. You know, you tend not to see a man kicking another man in the face when he's down, Holmes. You know, you drop a motherfucking man ground, Holmes, and traditionally speaking, as a man culture society, you don't want to shoot that motherfucker either, Holmes. It's a boxing, Holmes. You know what I mean? Left and right, Holmes. You're gonna swing. You're gonna do your thing, Holmes. 45 salutes to you, bulldog face. Yeah, I'm in my 40s también, carnal. You know what I mean? We're about the same age. You know, if not about the same, Holmes. You know what I mean? We are, Holmes. You know, so you know how it is back in the day compared to nowadays, Holmes. You know, so but boxing has been boxing, Holmes. Left and the right, Holmes. You can throw uppercuts, jabs, hooks, overhands. You know, what I mean, straights, haymakers. But that's about it, Holmes. You're limited to the weapons you have, Holmes. And because you're limited, if you're getting your ass kicked, Holmes, you gotta resort to whatever you have. You know, and then that's where your footwork kicks in. You know what can you do in mid range and and not only that, but the the footwork, your defensive skills, your guard, and your chin, Holmes. Can your body, Holmes? Can you sustain the pain? You know, can you fight through losing, you know, your half of your vision, you know, because you got, you know, maybe punched really hard or thumbed in the eye or whatever, Holmes, head butted. What the fuck now, Holmes? You know what I mean? So, but when it comes to Nate Diaz versus Jorge Masvidal, Holmes, what you're going to see a good fight, bro. A good fight where